Welcome to The Proof, the program powered by Africa Check, the continent's leading fact-checking organization. I'm your host, Darshan Usman. Today, fact-checking takes us to Nigeria's commercial capital, Lagos State, where the challenge of high house rents and persistent issues between tenants and landlords have been under the spotlight. There have been calls for legislation to protect tenants from abrupt eviction and other poor treatment. Now, according to several Facebook posts, the Lagos State Tenancy law has now been updated to protect tenants, limiting landlords to a maximum of 3 months rent collection and setting harsh penalties for violators. Sounds like a win for tenants, right? But is this really the case? Let's break it all down in this episode. Welcome to The Proof. Africa Check researcher Mukhtar Balogun joins me today. Good to see you again, Mukhtar. Now let's get right into it.
Thanks for having me, Darshan.
Mukhtar, let's start with introducing Nigerians to what tenancy law is and why they should care about it. Go ahead, please.
The Tenancy Law of Lagos State 2015 is the main law guiding rental agreements in Lagos. It outlines rent duration, required notice for eviction, as well as dispute resolution and limits on rent advances. So this law primarily applies to residential premises as well as some business premises.
Thank you, Mukhtar, for an overview of the issue. So what's the current legal basis for tenancy agreements in Lagos?
The claim originated from Facebook posts that began circulating in May 2025. These posts listed what they called key provisions of the updated Lagos State Tenancy Law, and it includes rent limits and penalties for landlords. However, these provisions were not backed by any official government source. Official announcements, like we always say, are crucial for verifying reports like this, but we found no official reports to back this up.
Thank you, Mukhtar. Now, has the Lagos State Tenancy Law been officially updated in 2025?
The answer is no. The Lagos State Tenancy Law has not been updated as of June 2025. And despite viral social media posts and conversations around tenancy law in the state, the valid law remains the 2015 version, and there has been no legally binding update or amendment passed by the Lagos State House of Assembly.
Has the Lagos State government responded to claims of the law being updated?
The government said the attention of the Lagos State government had been drawn to a fabricated online publication stating that the Lagos State Tenancy Law has been updated. And they noted that for the avoidance of doubt, the government, said the publication did not emanate from the Lagos State Real Estate Regulatory Authority, that's LASRERA. The Tenancy Law of 2015, according to them, is still in effect. So it must be noted that the original law dates back to 2011, which was compiled in 2015. And fast forward to April 2025, the Lagos State House of Assembly also called on the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice to implement the tenancy law of the laws of Lagos State 2015, and that that was to deter landlords from engaging in illegal and unfair practices in the state.
Good to hear that the government did not hesitate to call the bluff off the claim. Now let's go on a break, Mukhtar. When we return, we'll look at the false provisions listed in the viral posts and why claims like these are dangerous. Stay with us. Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. This is The Proof, powered by Africa Check. Today, we're looking at the high cost of house rents and issues between tenants and landlords in Lagos State. Now, there have been calls for legislation to protect tenants from abrupt eviction and other issues that may arise between landlords and renters parties. Now, according to several Facebook posts, the Lagos State Tenancy Law has been updated to protect tenants, limiting landlords to a maximum of 3 months rent collection and setting harsh penalties for violators. Africa Check's Mukhtar Balogun has taken us through the fact check on this claim, and it's been shown to be false. Now, Mukhtar, let's get right back into it. What are some of the false provisions listed in the viral posts?
The posts falsely claim that Lagos landlords can only collect a maximum of 3 months' rent in advance, and that violators would face a 100,000 naira fine or 3 months imprisonment. It also states that tenants can remain in a property for 90 days after an eviction notice. But these provisions are not part of any official enforceable law in Lagos as of June 2025.
Lagosians are expecting beneficial legislation to guard their interests, Mukhtar. Has any action been taken to review or even update the law to improve the sector?
Yes, in April 2025, the Lagos State House of Assembly urged the state Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, to review and implement reforms to the tenancy law, especially in order to, address landlord excesses and rent-related conflicts. However, no legislation has been passed yet.
Can you give a brief explanation on its significance? Why is it so important to Lagosians that the law is fully implemented?
Because a lot of Lagos residents, as we know it, live in rented homes. With rising living costs, landlords often demand 2 to 3 years rent upfront, which can force tenants into hardship, an unnecessary hardship. So this makes the tenancy law a crucial social protection tool for everyday Lagosians.
Why are false claims about the law dangerous?
False claims can mislead tenants, into thinking they have protections they don't actually have. So it can encourage conflicts between landlords and tenants based on misinformation, because you can imagine it, someone claiming a particular document exists that protects his or her rights, and where in reality there's no such document in existence. So that means conflict would come up between both parties. So it can also undermine trust in legal processes and governance. So that's why verifying such claims through credible sources is essential.
Mukhtar, how can tenants and landlords verify such legal updates in the future?
Yes, they should visit official platforms such as the Lagos State Government website and Las Ferreras official page. They should also follow official social media accounts, especially those of the Ministry of Justice, Lagos State House of Assembly, and the state government. They should also rely on mainstream credible media outlets for legislative updates. And in case of coming across such misinformation, it is better, in case of doubt, you have a doubt, you don't believe such from even legitimate media platforms. You can always, reach out to Africa Check to fact check claims like this.
Thank you for your time, Mukhtar. Now that will be all for now.
My pleasure, Dashan. Thank you for having me.
That's it on this episode of The Proof, powered by Africa Check. If you have comments or a claim you want us to fact check, tweet at AfricaCheck_NG. Follow News Central on our social media platforms. We are at News Central TV. And you can check out our website. It's www.newscentral.africa. Stay vigilant and stay informed. I'm Darshan Usman.